Um, Hi, my name is Jillian Thompson. I am Gerber's environmental sustainability intern working in waste reduction and alternative sustainable solutions. Again, I am in this internship through Sea Grant, obviously Oregon Applied Sustainability Experience, DEQ, and the EPA. And yeah, my name is Jillian Thompson. I'm currently a senior at Oregon State University, majoring in marketing and sustainability with a minor in supply chain and logistics management. And my mantra is make underconsumption cool again. If you actually look to the left, that is an '06 automatic knife. I was going to bring samples, but that kind of doesn't make sense. They are knives. So yeah, I'm going to spare you looking at a waste hierarchy triangle again. But basically, my overview of that in relation to waste hierarchy is that I have 5 projects. One of them is reuse, 2 of them is reduce, and 2 of them are recycle. So we'll get right into those here in a second. But here's the agenda. We're going to go over company background, project overview, project description, and then we're going to get into the nitty-gritty and summarize our results. So let's get started with company background. So who is Gerber? Gerber is a knife and multi-tool company located in Tigard, Oregon. They have an employee count of online, in office, and in factory of 174 workers, and they plan to be landfill free by 2030, which is why I'm working for them. And then my supervisor couldn't be here today, but her name is Marie Hagenlock, and she's the EHS manager at Gerber. Here are some of the knives and multi-tools that we actually produce in-house. The Strong Arm, the Multiplier 600, and then the '06 Auto, which is what I was holding in the earlier slide. So let's do the project overview. I'm going to kind of go through these kind of quick, so strap in. So here's the recommendations I have for Gerber. The wet waste project, recycling education program, briquetting system, silicone mat project, and then the sun tunnel project. Yes, now you can see it. The screen. Oh, cool. All right, so now we're going to get into project descriptions. Let's get started. So this is the wet waste project. So that disgusting sludge up on the right is called wastewater treatment sludge. So basically that is the sludge that comes off of every single liquid that is run through Gerber in order to actually release it to the sewer system. So this is the material that sits in that water and is strained by straining paper before it's released. And we actually discovered that this is the highest waste contributor in volume to Gerber. And this is our wet waste. So we wanted to prove that it's a significant contributor and get it tested to explore recyclability or reusability. Our current solutions is an electric osmosis dryer, which is actually that process can be seen right there. It molecularly removes the waste from the water and reduces water content by 60%. Which is really significant in terms of just weight, since that's what Gerber is trying to reduce. However, it's very expensive. It's $1.5 million. And I'm not going to be like the intern. I'm like, oh, I'm just here to spend your money. But this is like the last resort. If Gerber cannot figure out how to reduce this waste by 2030, this is the last resort, which is unfortunate, but that's the way it is. The preferred implementation, though, is through the World Resources Company, which was brought to our attention a couple of weeks before this internship ended. So that's currently getting tested as of right now. They would find a recycling opportunity for us and also not quite give us like transparent traceability, which is the only downside to this. But yeah. We actually did find running through a waste audit that I also did with Jennifer and Alex. So me and Ali share that experience together. But we found that actually this accounts for 44% of the total waste at Gerber, and we produce about 15.05 metric tons annually, which is quite a lot. So then we go on to the recycling program or project. This has actually been implemented, as you can see to the right. That is a flyer that I've created. It's to make recycling easy for employees and just inform them about their impact. this is in the lunchroom, the factory floor, the back of the bathroom stalls. Like I'm trying to implement this into people's brains whenever I can. It's actually communicated in 3 different languages. We only ever had recycling and garbage, just informational flyers in English, and that's not the most commonly spoken language on the floor, which makes sense why they don't know how to do this recycling just program in general. We have it in Spanish and Vietnamese and English now, so that should cover a lot of really common languages. Something that's kind of indirect, but I would like to think that I helped do this, is that in July to August, recycling went up 7%, which is really significant to the past couple months. And it was actually implemented in the very start of July. And then trash also went down from 9% to 4%. So, and of course, the month isn't over yet, so we'll have to see how that turns out. But again, it's very indirect. And then we move to the briquetting system. So actually that swarf bin you see that's in the blue, that's called swarf. So it has coolant and water in it, and then metal. It's actually produced by all the different machines that cut metal, bevel metal, sand metal, all sorts of different processes to make a knife. And this machine would actually take that swarf and squeeze all of the coolant out, that the hydroflow, a machine that actually cleans the coolant and reuses it to all of the different machines at Gerber, couldn't get out. And we sent in to rough briquetting system at the very beginning of the internship. And we sent them 40 pounds of swarf, got 18 gallons of coolant out, and 37 briquettes, like this size of like a half pound of all sorts of different kind of metal back, which was really significant actually to moving this project along. We're trying to get credit for them currently. They come in at about 4 cents a pound, and we want to sell them to smelters in the Midwest. So we're working on that as of right now, but this ultimate project would reduce the false recycling claims. Metro Metals actually takes that swarf right now and recycles it, but disposes of the coolant that's in it. So it's not completely recycled. So we want to fix that system and make sure that everything in that swarf is actually recyclable. And also we'd save money on coolant because we wouldn't have to buy it every single year. Here's kind of 2 smaller projects that I've been working on: silicone mats and sun tunnels. The silicone mats will replace a single-use paper towel that the workers use every single day to line their workstations with. So like they are using a paper towel, taping it down, and then flipping it over after lunch and using it every single day. And I was like, that has to stop. So we are implementing actually these silicone mats, and everyone seems to love them so far. We actually also determined that cloth can be used as a substitute for those hard to reach places that these huge mats cannot. And that seems to be working really well too. And it saves us a lot of money. And these are sun tunnels. Sun tunnels are basically like you see just like an LED light, but essentially there is a spot cut out of the roof and just lets the light in, honestly. So we would turn off the lights during Fridays in the summer, and employees usually work from home or have half days on Fridays. So it actually worked really well. And there's only 22 Fridays. So just for people who don't want that to happen. I know. So we're going to go ahead and summarize our results. So I'm not going to walk you through every single thing in this chart because there's a lot of numbers, but the totals here would be $31,000 in savings if they decide to implement all of these, and 63 metric tons of CO2 emissions, 80,000 gallons of water saved, and then 432 gallons of hazardous waste, which is the coolant that I was talking about earlier. And these annual savings go anywhere from the largest one for the briquetting system, which is about $14,000, to just the smallest one, which is the recycling education program, which is about $2,000. One thing that I wanted to go over, because I didn't have a what I learned slide, but I learned that money means everything in this industry. If you can talk money, then you can also talk pollution with these people and it will make sense to them. That's what got through to my manager, and he was actually seeing that, wow, these can be implemented just as easily as anything else that we do. People want to know how to personally reduce their like carbon footprint and be sustainable. And I actually had several people come up to my desk every single day just asking random sustainability questions to me. So like it's really it's really nice to hear that people are actually interested in the work that we do, and that they want to also help in that whole initiative. And then you can't actually be waste free at these kind of companies, which is unfortunate. And I was really ambitious going into this. I'm like, I'm gonna make Gerber like completely waste free by 2030. It just isn't happening. It's gonna be at least less than 10%, but you just have to come to terms that that's just not gonna happen, which is okay. And then personally, kind of just a random fact, I will always carry a knife now for the rest of my life. I have so many knives I'll never need in another life. In my life ever again, I'll never need a knife. So yeah, I have knives with me. So if you want to see them, I do have them. So you can come ask me about that after the presentation. So yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
well, I think in your internship, there was a lot of just going back and forth with, you know, recycling and prevention. And, you know, you were working on so many projects while you were waiting for the results to come back. Can you help us just understand how you balanced the focus on prevention versus, like, I think you were looking at literally 10 different ideas and projects.
Yeah. So initially, the first week, I sat down and figured out, okay, what anything that I could solve in this company, what does that look like? And then by the next couple weeks, I started narrowing down exactly what I was going to be focusing on. And I did. I had like 10 projects that I was working on. And the way that I balanced these is just I had one going off to the side, like the wet waste project that I knew that it was getting tested, so I'd have time to work on other projects. I also knew that the last two projects that I went over, the silicone mats and the sun tunnels, those would happen regardless if I wasn't there, and they happened really super quick. So those were easy to just implement last minute because they were just a super easy, just either order or leave it as it is. And for the recycling education, it was more just like daily doings. I daily make flyers. I daily sort through the trash. I daily make, people would joke with me, I'm going to put this in recycling. No, you're not. No, you're not. So I just go around and do that while I was waiting just for my other projects. It was really big time for me to learn about how I did time management and project management. So I learned a lot from it.
Amazing. So, any other questions? Yeah. We're running a little behind, but we have a long break. Any questions in the room here in Oregon? Yes, Ben.
How did you separate your wet waste from your wastewater? What kind of system is that?
So that is called a roto finish, and it will strain the water from the solids with this microfiber like paper essentially that's really super thick and strains really well, and like I guess combusts like oils and coolants and hazardous materials, and actually leaves it on the top, and it will soak it like a paper towel but leave everything going through. I honestly don't know how it's engineered. It's a fantastic system, but once that goes through that paper and sifts all the way through, the conveyor belt then takes the waste and dumps it into a container, and the water on the bottom can actually be released into the sewer as of the Clean Water Act for
And
GQ.
the machine is huge.
It's huge.
I mean,
yes,
like,
it's giant.
I don't even know, half this room and then twice this high.
Yes.
Right?
And yes.
Yeah,
and
okay.
actually it's so implemented into their system that actually they have tubes that from every single machine that takes it out and dumps it into this. And we produce a lot a month, which is why it's very important to get this.
Good question. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, any questions online? No, okay, I'm gonna hand